YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with Spread Splash Fragrance Reviews, and today I need to conclude my final purchases of 2022. I actually had 3 fragrances that I bought with the rest of my fragrances from my last video haul, and they came in a little late, so I couldn't include them in that video. If you're interested in finding out what those fragrances are, please stay tuned. All right, so first fragrance was one that I had on my radar for quite some time. It's from the house of Mancera, and it is called Fig Ecstasy. I don't know if you can see that. All right, this is a 2 ml 60 fluid ounce bottle. Didn't really feel like I needed the 100 ml or one. I think it's maybe 120. Anyway, the reviews on this fragrance were pretty much mixed. The biggest thing or biggest complaint that I would always see was actually something that kind of propelled me to buy the fragrance, and that was that this wasn't the typical fig fragrance, and it actually changed and became more of something else as the fragrance went on. So I can tell you, when I spray this fragrance, it is like my other fig fragrances. It's, you know, a little tropical, a little sweet, kind of watery, basic fig type note. And then it eventually transitions into something that is kind of lactonic almost, and then morphs from that into something that starts to become a little powdery, a little spicy, with a little bit of wood and a tonka hit, while still having that lactonic feel. And then the fig is falling way into the background. And that's a totally different feel than what I'm used to with, you know, my other fig fragrances. So it is definitely unique in that sense. The, I guess, dry down in this fragrance actually reminds me of Effin' Fabulous by Tom Ford. Not saying that it's a spot on type thing, but it definitely reminds me of that fragrance. So I have to say, I think the fragrance is, you know, unique. I don't have Effin' Fabulous in my collection, and I'm really excited to see how the fragrance, you know, changes and performs on my skin once I wear it in warmer weather. So I feel like it was a hit so far for me. You know, if you have a number of fig fragrances and you would like to have something a little different, I think this might be something you want to check out. I got it for a pretty reasonable price. I'll have all that information on the screen. I want to say I picked this one up at fragrancebuy.ca. So again, from the house of Mancera, this is Fig Ecstasy. Second pickup is from the house of Olfactive Studios, and this is Still Life in Rio. You can see that. This is another fragrance that I had my eye on for quite some time, and you know, most of the reviews on the fragrance were pretty positive. So, you know, I never smelled it, so it was a blind buy. So it was pretty much purchased based upon written reviews. When I first sprayed it, I can tell you I was a little surprised because it didn't have the tart, bright lemon that I thought it would have. That, what in my mind is perfect for warm weather. This felt like a slightly candied lemon with a strong honey like feel right up under the lemon, and then having a slightly aromatic note that kind of accompanied the lemon and the honey in the opening. So it was not what I expected for what I thought would be like a tropical warm weather fragrance. And another thing, it caught me off guard because that smell was something that I was very familiar with. So it actually, you know, made me pause for a second to try to figure out where did I know that smell from, because it was a very familiar smell. So what I finally figured out was I've been sick twice since the pandemic started, and both times I had to go out and get throat lozenges. And I picked up this brand called Ricolo, which I had never really purchased prior. and they have this one that's like a lemon honey lozenge slash cough drop, and it smells so much like that it's like creepy. That just it's really really close to that, and then the fragrance actually transitions into smelling like another fragrance that I've got in my collection that's a little older, and that fragrance is Doom by Christian Dior. It's not exact, but it definitely reminds me of that fragrance where Dune is a kind of a dry smelling fragrance. And if you've ever seen me or seen my videos on Dune by Christian Dior, you will often hear me say it smells like a combination of like sand, fabric softener sheets, and motor oil, which is a really weird combination. Something about this fragrance as it evolves, it really reminds me of Dune. Not really the motor oil as much, but more of the like the sandy fabric softener sheet smell, kind of a clean smell. So it doesn't really do what I expected it to do. It's supposed to like mimic a drink from Brazil, but I don't really get like a lot of booziness with the fragrance. And the very far dry down, I do get a little bit of leather. So it's kind of a, I don't want to say strange bird, but it's a different smelling fragrance, and one that I haven't really fully wrapped my head around. I think it's going to take a little time. I definitely want to take the time to try to get into the fragrance. I'm really excited to be able to try to wear it some when the weather really changes, because it might do some things differently. But that's kind of what I get so far. So again, from the house of Olfactive Studios, this is Still Life in Rio. Last but not least is a fragrance I picked up from another YouTube creator. He goes by the name of Eugene. I think his station or channel is You Smell Good. I think that might be what it is. But he's got a line out. It's called Les Abstraits. And he had his initial release. I can't recall the name of that one, but I know it was a rose-based fragrance. And then I saw that he released a second fragrance, and it was supposed to be like kind of like an iris amber type fragrance. So, I rolled the dice on that one, pulled the trigger, and got it. And happy I've got that one. This one is called Bellamy by Les Abstraits. And this is a well done fragrance. When you first spray this fragrance, I think at first glance for a lot of folks, you're going to think Dior Homme Intense, because it's got a iris note in the opening. But that's kind of where the comparison ends. For me, Dior Homme or Dior Homme Intense is that you often hear people say like that makeup bag, that lipstick note, kind of waxy iris, which kind of has like a feminine tinge to it. This one has got a waxy iris, but it doesn't have a feminine tinge to it at all. I liken the waxy smell to almost like, I think back to being a kid and actually playing with crayons and having a crayon that you have to put into the pencil sharpener and smelling like the pencil or the crayon shavings in your hand. I used to do that when I was a kid, and it reminds me of that more so than like a lipstick makeup bag type iris smell, just for me personally. And then sometimes when I spray it, I kind of get this almost like Band-Aid accord that kind of reminds me of Gucci Guilty Absolute, but like nowhere near that fragrance. I mean, it's just something that I've gotten a couple times. I've sprayed it that reminds me of like a Band-Aid accord, and that's just in the opening. Eventually, the fragrance it kind of transitions, and you get like a little bit of this like powdery cardamom that kind of comes in with this little like dusting almost of like a cacao note, and then it totally changes and goes into like this sandalwood slash musk base dry down, and it's really like this kind of like chill feel to the fragrance. And I do remember hearing him talk about like the thought behind the fragrance, and I actually really get that, how it's like kind of like a meditative type, really relaxing feel for the fragrance. So all in all, it is a kind of simplistic, well-constructed, classy smelling fragrance. The style profile for this fragrance is not one that I think that's going to make people go crazy, but for those who can appreciate a kind of like, you know, simple, well executed, classy smelling fragrance, I think they're going to really enjoy this fragrance. So, you know, price is another thing. This is a kind of expensive fragrance. You know, you think 120, no. 150, no. 180, no. 200, no. 240. I know for some folks, you know, price doesn't matter. I know for other folks it does. I blind bought it. You know, I wanted to support and check the fragrance out. It's an expensive fragrance, but I think that I will get my money's worth from it. And it is definitely like a classy fragrance, and one that's going to wear well. So I don't have any, you know, reservations about picking this one up. I think it's a nice release. So, you know, those are the three fragrances that I picked up that I didn't get the opportunity to include in my, you know, final haul for 2022. And that's all I've got, guys. I thank you so much for checking out the video. Put a comment below and let me know, you know, what your final purchases were of 2022. If they're, you know anything about these fragrances, if you have any of these fragrances in your collection, or maybe some of the purchases you're looking to make in 2023. I hope the video finds you well. I hope for blessings for all of you guys in the name of the Yeshua, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.